Jason here with Dad Mode 24/7 and getting to a part of the show where we're going to start talking about knives. And I've always wanted to make knives, and so I got some stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my dad a knife for Father's Day. So I got a piece of metal, started cutting on it, grinding on it, cutting on it, cutting on it, cutting on it, trying to form this blade. Here's what I've gotten to so far. As you can tell, it's a little thick, but it's given me 7 different kinds of fits. I have so far blown up 2 cutting discs, worn out 5 sanding belts on it. Couldn't figure out what was going on. And it's just been weighing on me and weighing on me. And then today at work, it hit me. This is what I started with. This is the 22-inch pry bar. Well, it's straight off the shelf. It had been hardened. So now I have to take this and unharden it. And the best way to do that is to anneal it. So throw it in a bunch of heat, get it red hot, pull it out, let it cool itself down. The metal will be softer. I'll be able to cut it. Problem: don't have a forge. So got to playing around online, did some investigating, did some research, and stumbled across a video from a guy, ZNA Productions. Watched some of his stuff. He did an at-home kind of DIY forge out of basically a metal folding chair and cast iron pot. So I've got all the equipment. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to try to make one. Kind of follow his steps the best I can. I'll put a link to his video at the end of this so you can go there and check him out. Great DIY knife maker, so he's got some good stuff on there. So we're going to go outside, we're going to build a forge, that if time allows, we're going to throw this thing out in the heat. We're going to see if we can anneal it, see if we can get a little softer. So we'll be back. So basically here's everything that we are going to need to get going. Got the cast iron pot. I've got all the pipes. We'll show how those go together here in a little bit. Over there is my chair that I'm going to convert, and a hair dryer to use to force the air up through the intake pipe. So I'm going to set some stuff up. We're going to get to work in here, and we're going to make us a forge.
Alright, I'm just going to be outlining the cast iron pot here, so I get kind of a template onto the chair. Then you're going to want to bring that in about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch to kind of put a lip on it so that you've got something to set it on whenever you put it into the chair. Alright, now I'm getting ready to fire up the angle grinder to cut out my circle for the pot. I'm going to put my gloves on here. Make sure you use proper protection for this. If you notice, I have gloves on. I also have on goggles, safety glasses, also a respirator, and earmuffs. This can actually be quite loud, so you really want to make sure that you protect that hearing. So I'm going to be sitting here making circles, slowly cutting this out, trying to get this nice and smooth. Also, you want to make sure you're wearing pants. Those sparks can get hot really fast if you're unfamiliar with an angle grinder. So it takes a little bit of time. I've got a little bit of a thicker cutoff wheel, so it's not going to cut as fast as a narrow one, but I've had a hard time with the narrow ones breaking. So I went to a little bit of a thicker one. That's a 1/8 cutoff wheel that I'm using right there. Alright, so I finished cutting out the hole to rest the pot in right now. So I'm going to switch over to a flap wheel and kind of grind and smooth those edges up. So now I'm going to switch over to a 60 grit flap wheel. I'm going to use that to kind of grind down some of those burrs and edges from that cut sheet metal. They can be pretty sharp. I am going to hand tighten this right now, but the grinder is unplugged. I never have that plugged in while I'm changing out discs. It's just a safety issue. Alright, now that I've got the flap wheel on, I'm just going to be working on these edges and these corners and really trying to make them smooth, knock down all the burrs, anything that's sharp that could potentially cut, while at the same time rounding out that circle, making it where the pot's going to fit in there. That pot is a perfect circle. So you need to make it as close to perfect as you can. It doesn't have to be exact because the weight will hold it in there. But I'm just really going to work this out. You can see all the sparks coming out that I'm really pushing that grinder in there, trying to get this as smooth and as round as I possibly can, but the chair's not really working for me. So I kind of got to go around. It's not the safest way to hold that grinder to work around through there, but I'm in my garage. There's nobody going to turn me in. So really going to work on just kind of rounding that out. Okay, next we're going to start marking the holes to attach the flange to the bottom of the pot. So you want to get that centered in the middle of your pot and get a marker, mark all the holes where your bolts are going to go so we can get ready to prep this for drilling here in just a second. Get a good mark on there, get it out of the way. All right, now we're getting ready to drill the holes, and I've already prepped and put oil where all my holes are going to go. I also used a punch to mark the holes. The camera just didn't get that. So my next goal is to actually get a drill press, which will really make this a lot easier. But for right now, the Makita is going to have to work. So I'm going to put 4 holes in for the flange, and then I'm going to put a bunch of holes right where the airflow is going to go. So I just keep pushing and keep pushing, try not to break that bit, but the Makita and the bit hold strong, and I'm able to punch through. Alright, I've got the flange bolted on, and there's the extra holes that I drilled for airflow to get through to the bottom of the pot. So now we're going to start assembling the pipe. Now, I bought all of the pipe and the flange. It only cost me about $40 for all of it. I already had the pot, and I already had the chair, and it's just an old hair dryer. So I got all of this really put together and built for me for 40 bucks, but for anybody else, you could build one of these for about $100 or less. So this is a great investment for somebody who's just looking to get started, really wanting to get a forge. That way you're not going out and spending a lot of money buying a high-end forge. The best part about this is when you're done, you disassemble it, you fold it up and put it in the corner, and you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't take up a lot of space in your garage. So I'm going to keep assembling these pipes. They fit really well together. Don't crank them too tight so that way you can take them apart. Now that cap, when I put that on right there, that's so at the end of it you can take that off, dump all of your ash out of it. That way you're not completely.
Well, as you can tell, I've made mine just slightly too big, but it's all right. I can measure, put a new piece of pipe in there, but you can kind of see how it's going to work. So let me get the hair dryer strapped on, and we'll be right back.
All right, we're going to get this thing lit up right here. I'm going to use the little acetylene torch. Basically doing this to show how quickly you can really get this lit if you wanted to. Some people will use paper or starter sticks to throw in there. I just had a little acetylene torch up in the cabinet. Thought I'd run that. Gets those coals going really quick. And once you get a little bit of a spark, go ahead and turn your hair dryer on. I'll start mine on low. You can already see the kick up and the sparks going. This really gets those coals going really fast. So if you notice, that was about a minute and you've already got hot sparking coals. So now that I've got the coals going, I'm going to come and add some charcoal on top of it. And I'm just using a mesquite, just a regular lump charcoal. Like, I'm not filling the pot. This is my first burn on it. I just kind of wanted to see what it could do. I'm going to crank it up here to a medium. But again, that's just regular standard lump charcoal that you can pick up at any grocery store. I happen to have got mine from Sam's, but it works great for what I'm trying to do. So you can see now we're kind of going at a full bore, and I mean that's still on the medium heat. And the hairdryer works great, lots of sparks going, a lot of heat in there, and that cast iron is going to hold up great. I'm going to keep all that in there. I'm not going to let this thing burn crazy because I didn't get a chance to clean all my driveway off. There's still some leaves and stuff out there. And there is the knife that I started on earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there and go ahead and get that annealed. So we're going to put some heat to that. And I'm going to turn that down to a low. Now I'm not burning through all my charcoal. But you can see how quickly this really gets up. That hairdryer does a phenomenal job. Again, another great shout out to ZNA Productions for his initial video that kind of got me thinking about doing this. So that's me taking a couple of pictures that I'm going to be posting on my Twitter, on my Instagram. Got to send those to my brother-in-law. He's going to start doing this with me. He's going to be kind of my partner. So look for some of his videos in the future. But yeah, if you're looking for me on Twitter and Instagram, just follow the Dad Mode 24/7 and you'll find me. Going to readjust some of that charcoal. Really been going out. I've already pulled that knife out once to check it, and I put a magnet to it. By this time, it's already red hot. It's lost its magnetism. Some of the charcoal's burned off, so it's not quite as cherry red as it was initially. But right now, it's already plenty hot. So I'm going to take another picture of the blade as it is. And then you'll get to see it here in just a second to see that it has turned into a nice red hot metal in a very short amount of time.
Alright guys, I just finished the folding chair forge. As you can see, you know, I had some hiccups along the way. My pipes were too long for the pot and for the chair, so I'm going to have to go back and fix that, put some new pipe on there. But if I mess up, I'm going to share it. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm going to be 100% real. I'm going to share my wins, my successes, but I'm also going to highlight my failures because, you know, fail is first attempt in learning. So we're going to put that behind us. We're going to keep going. You know, it's the ZNA Productions, great guy. Saw this on his page, so give him a like. I'm going to put his link on this. But guys, I'm going to need your help. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give me the thumbs up, share it with your friends, draw some people to this page because besides just knives, I got a smoker out there. I'm going to be doing cooking shows. I'm going to be doing stuff on fixing stuff up around the house, you know, changing out light switches, changing out ceiling fans, that kind of stuff. So together we're going to learn a lot. So, you know, like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button. Thanks a lot.